Welcome to the show, Lucas Thomson. How are you?
Going well, mate. Going well. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. For those who don't know you, give you a quick rundown on yourself. So you played Newcastle Wales Cup for the Knights.
Yep.
You
Yep.
played International Rugby League for the Netherlands, and you played the 2024 Canberra Regional Rugby League Grand Final.
Yep. That's
That
right. That's me.
what a feat to have under your belt. How old are you again?
25.
25, and you've ticked that off the list. That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Wish I started earlier. I
Yeah,
always think,
when did you start playing rugby league?
yeah, started at 21.
Oh shit.
So I always think, geez, imagine if I started at 10 or something like the rest of them did. Imagine where I'd be now. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about that
What when,
now. But
were
yeah.
you playing sports before? Then what sports were you playing before rugby league?
Yeah, so I was playing rugby union all through school.
Hmm.
Went to Canberra Grammar, and that's just the sport that everyone plays. It's a sport that all your mates play, so you just follow them in.
Yeah.
And then went to university and kept going for a couple of years there, playing rugby union
Hmm.
for the Union North Owls. But I always watched league growing up, and I never really watched rugby union or actually followed it that closely. So
Yeah.
I got to a point when I was 21, played a couple of years. I finished uni, and at the time I just thought, you know what, I want to go play rugby league. And thankfully, through some mutual friends, found a connection with a guy that was the captain of a side, and he gave me the coach's number. And I said, let's give this thing a go.
Oh
And
shit.
started training there, and it went from there pretty
Oh
well.
shit. So, what position were you playing in Union, and did
I
that
was
carry
playing.
over into league? Because what did you end up
Yeah,
playing in league?
yeah, so I was playing mainly inside centre at Union,
Hmm.
playing number 12 there. And as soon as I went into league, started playing centre.
Oh
So
yeah.
I remember playing. We had a couple of training sessions, and then we had like a nines tournament out in Yass, which is just 30 minutes outside of Canberra. And I just, I was like, oh, this will be fun. I just, I didn't really think too much of it.
Hmm.
Got out there, and I think in the first game scored like 3 tries, just running down the wing, just getting good early ball from someone, and I just went with it. And the
Yeah.
coach pulled me up after the first game, and went, mate, you're our first grade centre. I was like, oh, sweet, sweet, here we are.
That's crazy. Did you find the
Yeah.
skills from Union transferred well to League, or was it a completely different ball game between the two of them?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's easier to go from union to league. I think union's probably more finite sort of technical skills, and there's a lot of nuanced rules that are quite complicated when you have to break it down. It's sort of the ruck breakdown and line outs, mauls, scrums, and all that stuff, which I didn't really take part in. But I think the knock on me in union that the coaches always said was, "Oh, you're not real good at the breakdown. You're not real good at the ruck. You don't really clear people out, and you
Yeah.
don't really have that sort of aggression or that mongrel about you." I'm just not a naturally angry or aggressive
No, you're
person.
not.
So once I got into rugby league, I was like, "Oh, this is way easier. Like you get tackled, you just get up, play the ball." Um, Obviously, like just the agility and the speed and the footwork, stuff like that transfers over. I suppose kicking is probably a big one.
Hmm.
Um, I think in rugby union, there's a lot of really good goal kickers, and a lot of rugby union players have a really big boot.
Hmm.
So even though when I play centre in league, I don't really kick that often in general play, but I remember earlier this year playing in a Monero sort of rep team, and we were on our try line. We got a penalty, and I just thought, give me the ball, I'll kick for touch. Kicked it like 40 meters downfield, found touch. And the boys are just sitting around going, why hasn't this bloke been kicking for us for ages? So I suppose the goal kicking aspect of rugby union and league was pretty well the same. So that transferred well.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, a slightly different way to pass the ball.
Yeah.
Um, Running and
And
everything's all the same.
different lines, you kind of run different lines in League compared to Union, or is it very similar lines you're running in attack?
Yeah, I think because every union centre sort of played a bit of both, that
Yeah.
12 or 13 inside centre, outside centre. So I think that outside centre line sort of coming back in against the
Hmm.
grain, that's a very popular line for a back rower in league, but can also sometimes be a centre
Yeah.
for league, running that short line with a fullback out the back and then a winger.
Hmm.
Um, so I've done that a fair bit. I suppose what really helped me out as well was probably the tackling, because when you're a centre in league, the tackles you have to make are sort of one-on-ones. They could be close to the line. They're pretty important tackles to make. Like if you miss, they're probably going to score. And I suppose from union, I always learnt like a really low tackle.
Hmm.
I sort of tackle around the belly button, sort of just folding people in half, going real low. And I always found that a lot of league players, they always sort of tackle real high and they'll try to wrestle you. And eventually I figured out why. Like they want to get you on your back and slow down the play the ball and
Yeah.
get their markers set and get their defensive line set. But
Hmm.
I always sort of went low and just sort of chopped people to the ground really well. And I think that was a pretty helpful skill to transfer over
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how does it work? Because I've no idea, right? You get called up to the New South Wales Cup Knights team. How did that all
Yeah.
come about, and how does that work in that system?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty crazy, really. It's pretty surreal when you sort of look back and think about it. And,
Shit,
yeah. Yeah.
like that's
It's
the
pretty,
next
it's
step
pretty
from there
crazy.
is first grade NRL.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I
that's crazy.
remember, yeah. So I joined Gungahlin Bulls, through this mutual friend that I met. We played 2 years there,
Hmm.
21, 22. By the end of the 22 season, I went to Prezzo and got the best and fairest award, even though I missed 4 games because I was over in Europe for a month and somehow I still got that award. Couldn't believe it. But I had a manager then, and he, I actually had him since rugby union,
Hmm.
through one of my other teammates. And anyway, he sort of created like a highlights video for me, and I had a couple that my brother would make one, or I'd flick it to a mate and he'd make one, and we'd do up this highlights video. He'd send it around, and one day he literally just called me. It's as simple as that. He just called me. He goes, "Mate, what do you think about Newcastle?" And I was like, "Oh, haven't really spent much time there, but I've got a brother that lives there and a sister that lives there." He goes, "Oh, perfect. Would you want to go play New South Wales Cup up in Newcastle? There's an opportunity there for you, mate. I was talking to this guy. He likes to look at you, and um, it'll just be like a train and trial sort of contract. And we've linked you up with Cessnock over there in the local league if you're not playing Cup, and they're keen to give you an opportunity." And I just go, "What? What the hell are you talking about?" And I was like, "What's New South Wales Cup?" And he was like, "The one below NRL." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? It's crazy." It's the way these things come about. They really are pretty surreal. Like
Yeah.
you're never as far away from these things as you think you are. So yeah, manager hit me up. He had the highlights video. He had the connections,
Oh
and
shit.
all of a sudden, I was driving to Newcastle.
What's the environment like in like a Cups team? Does it blend much with the first grade team, or is it just very separate between the two?
Oh, mate, I was a fish out of water. I
Yeah.
was I was just in shock. I remember the first day going there, and there's a Newcastle Knights like Centre of Excellence, really big building. It's got a gym, it's got hot and cold pools, it's got recovery, and then all these fields and ovals around it. And
Mm.
the first time I went there, I just was wearing random footy kit, and I just looked like just a homeless person. Probably they'd be looking, going, "Who is this bloke? Who decided to sign this guy?" I walk in and eventually get all my kit and everything, and all of a sudden you're just pulling things out, and this guy's going, "Here's your shirt, your shorts, your jumper, your trackies, your bag, your hooded jacket," and all of a sudden it just starts to become real. And I just remember looking around, and these guys are massive. They're big, they're powerful, they're fast, and I'm thinking, "What am I doing here? How did I get here?" Um, the environment's like super professional.
Hmm.
It's really cool. We sort of train in our own New South Wales Cup squad, which is largely made up of either really good local first graders or people from different cities. We had guys coming down from Queensland to be a part of this squad, and it was awesome. And the first graders, they sort of they train on their own oval right next to us, so
Oh shit.
they do their own sessions, but they're right next to us. They're just right there, and they hang around, and they're in the gym when you're sort of out on the field, and when you're in the gym, they're out on the field, and they're all around you. So everyone sort of just mingles in together. And I'll never forget, like, going up to the Centre of Excellence, and there's Kalen Ponga's just standing out there on his phone, and he's just waving. He goes, "Hey mate, how are you?" And I'm just going, like, this
Where the
guy I
fuck
just
am
watched
I?
on TV. I've watched him play State of Origin. I've watched him do all this stuff. He's just like absolute superstar of the game.
Mm.
And I'm just having a normal conversation to him, like he's just any bloke off the street. He goes, "Oh, how's your training going? Who you with?" I was like, "Oh, just with Carp. This is what we're doing." He goes, "Awesome, mate. No worries. Have a good session." I was just like, my heart was just beating out of my chest. I was like struggling to find words to speak. I was like,
Yeah.
this is surreal. And you're just walking through the halls, and everyone's there, and all the first graders are there waving, shaking hands. They're all like super polite.
Mm.
And I just look around going, this is it.
Yeah.
This is the place to be. So it was pretty cool.
That's incredible. It would have been real nice having your brother and your sister living in Newcastle as well, so you didn't feel completely alone in this surreal time as well.
Yeah. It was. It made it so much easier to move up there.
Yeah.
I had another offer to go up to sort of Queensland, sort of North Queensland, and sort of thought about it for a while, but it'd be super hard to move to a new city on your own with no connections, no sort of network, and to go chase a dream all on your own, and to have all these nerves and all these anxious thoughts, and to not have anyone sort of there helping you out would make it super hard. Like, I was so lucky that I moved straight into my sister's house and
Yeah.
go to training, come home, and for the first couple of weeks, she'd make me dinner, she'd help me out, and I'd just sit down with her and just talk to her, just be like, you wouldn't believe, like, it meant nothing to her, but I was like, you wouldn't believe who I spoke to today and what I did, and just to have that familiar face just really helped me settle down, helped me settle in, and
super important.
calm the nerves. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you also played international footy for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Because you're like born and bred in Australia, but your mother is from up there? Yeah.
Yeah. It's, again, super crazy. Like, my dad and I we woke up early one morning, and we were watching the Rugby League World Cup. I think it was in 2022. And Australia beat Scotland like 84-0. And Dad's sitting there going, I think Scotland might need your help, mate. They might need a hand here. And of course, Dad's Scottish. I go, oh, okay, no worries. And I just, again, flick my manager a message. And I think I was already at Newcastle at this point. So I'd already, like, I was always in contact with my manager while I was up there. So I messaged him going, my dad reckons we're Scottish and we should play for the Scotland team. How does that work? And so whenever I have these questions, I just ask the manager, and he goes, "Oh, you need to have a parent or a grandparent born in the country to play for that country." I went, "Oh, okay." I told Dad, and Dad goes, "Yeah. My dad was born in Scotland." I was like, "Oh, okay. Do you mind getting like his birth certificate and whatever?" Which was proved really hard to do, and Dad had to message all these family members and stuff, because his dad died like 20 years ago. He passed away a long time ago, so he didn't know who had it and and he went to all this effort, and then we get there, and his dad was actually born in Australia. And he messaged his whole family, all his cousins, everybody. It turns out that his dad was the youngest in his family. So by the time they had him, the family had moved from Scotland to Australia, and he was the only one that was born in Australia. So I wasn't eligible to play for Scotland. And I was like, oh, you're kidding. I said it to our manager. He goes, mate, not going to work. And we're sitting there at dinner just going, I felt so bad. I was like, Dad, I'm so sorry for putting you through that. And Mum's just sitting there. She's made dinner, and she goes, "Well, Luke, what about the Netherlands? Have you tried the Netherlands?" I was like, "What are you talking about, Mum?" As if the Netherlands are going to have a footy team. She goes, "Well, I was born there. Here's my birth certificate." And I go, "Okay. I mean, sure." I Googled the Netherlands, the Dutch rugby league team. Sure enough, they had a Wikipedia page. They had their own website, and I messaged the manager and go, "Here's my mom's birth certificate. She was born in the Netherlands. What do you reckon about that?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I know the coach, Dave Hunter. I'll
Oh,
well,
how?
here's his number, and he'll give you a call next week, and I'll send him your highlights video, and here's some forms to fill in." And I was like, "Man, I was only joking." Like, what are you talking about? He goes, "No, he's real keen. He's real keen." And a few days later, all of a sudden, I'm on the phone to the Netherlands coach, and he
How?
goes, "Oh, he knew all about New South Wales Cup. He knew all about local first grade and stuff. So he knew sort of where I was at, and we went through the finer details. And he said, these are the games we've got coming up. So if you want to book in your flights around these times, and we'll go from there."
How long was it between that first phone call with the coach and then you playing footy for them? Remember?
Jeez, yeah, it's a good question. It'd have to be a couple of months
Yeah.
because yeah, it was good timing because I suppose the World Cup was end of 22,
Hmm.
so I started messaging him, and then it would have been sort of October 23 that we went over there, so probably nearly a year, to be honest,
Yeah.
6-9 months.
Yeah.
We sort of planned it out. They don't have the ability to fund their players or anything like that, so it's
No.
all sort of self-funded. So I had to book it in well in advance and apply for leave, and fortunately I was in the Newcastle New South Wales Cup system. I was actually in the gym with some teammates, and the season was sort of getting towards the end, and one of my mates that I had up there goes, "Oh, so what are you doing in the off season? What are you doing once the season finishes?" And I said, "Oh, I'm actually going over to the Netherlands to play a few international games." And he's in the middle of his bench press. He's going, "What? What are you talking about?" I go, "Oh, my mum was born there, so I'm just going to go over and play for them." And he goes, "That's bloody crazy." And he was also Dutch. He's like, "I'm Dutch as
Oh,
well. My grandma was born there." I
oh,
went, "Oh,
how?
well, all you need is their birth certificates. Send it through to us, and you should come." And he goes, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's make it happen." It sounds absolutely ludicrous, and
Mm.
sure enough, the two of us, we got to go together,
Oh,
so that
shit,
made
that's
the trip a
incredible.
whole lot easier.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have someone, again, like when you moved to Newcastle, having your family there, it would have been real nice to have one of your mates come to the Netherlands with you and play footy with
Yeah,
you as well.
yeah, it made it so much
Yeah.
easier. We could book flights together, book accommodation
Yeah.
together, and we had sort of like training on a Monday and the game on the Saturday, so
Hmm.
we got to go home after training. We'd talk about, all the people we just met, what the team's like, and, what playing's going to be like. And yeah, to experience that together was, pretty special.
Moving into like game days, do you have any like game day rituals? Like, what does a game day look for you?
It's funny because I heard one of the other Dutch blokes on a podcast, and he was saying how he met us. We all got in a car, we were carpooling together to the game. And when my mate and I went into the car, we were like headphones in, locked in, and he thought we were the rudest blokes because we didn't say a word. We just got in the car, death stare on, um, didn't speak to anyone. We were just locked in.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, in terms of game day rituals, I don't do too much, to be
No.
honest. I like to just have some pasta or fettuccine carbonara or something before, so the dinner before the game. Big sleep, big sleep in. Probably get
Hmm.
like 10 hours, massive sleep in.
Yeah.
Um, and then sort of just get up, maybe walk around, maybe go for a walk. Um, just drink heaps of water. Um, have a couple of snacks with me, and I get to the game, and AirPods are in.
Yeah.
Mindset's just sort of locked in. I really don't do too much,
No.
to be honest.
Like
Yeah, pretty
there's no
cruisy.
lucky undies, there's no lucky
No,
pair of socks you got to wear the
no,
night before.
no. Everyone else wears budgie smugglers. I just wear normal undies.
Yeah,
It's probably
yeah.
why all my undies have holes in them because they're all just getting ripped out. But nah, I think I play better that way, just super cruisy.
Yeah.
You know, every game day is going to be different. You might have something on, you might not. And now sort of living with my partner and having a dog and whatever, it's sort of just whatever's going on the day, you just sort of go with the flow. And I
Yeah.
just try to be super relaxed when I get to the game and chuck the socks on, chuck the boots on, bite down on the mouth guard and rip in.
So you mentioned you played union growing up. You're watching a lot of rugby league. Were there any players that like inspired your play style in rugby league growing up, or in union?
My favourite player was always Darren Lockyer.
Mhm.
He was always my favourite player. I just felt growing up watching him, you always felt safe when he was in your side. You always felt like he was going to pull something out of nothing. He was just going to win the game for you real late. As a centre, I probably look at players like Greg Inglis, just strong, powerful. He had such a good fend.
Yeah.
Left hand, right hand, didn't matter. Nowadays, probably Katoni Staggs. I think he's just a brute. he's a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, there's guys I really enjoyed playing. Like I really enjoyed watching, like Darren Lockyer. And then there's guys I sort of look at and go and sort of take something from. Would be like, yeah, probably the better centers in the game.
Like your
Stephen
Stags,
Crichton. Yeah,
yeah.
defensively he's awesome. So guys like that probably.
Yeah. What are your moving forward? Do you have any like future goals you want to try hit moving forward, or do you think you've kind of peaked that cup, or where do you think you go from here?
Probably peaked too early. Peaked pretty quickly.
Well,
I don't know.
Some players they sort of start peaking at the like 27, 29 age. You've still got heaps of time.
Yeah. I suppose they sort of make a big deal out of it nowadays when people make their NRL debut around sort of 27, 28. You sort of getting towards your senior years. That's probably when I start reflecting back, going, "Oh, imagine if I started at 10 instead of 21, where I'd be now." But I've really enjoyed it. I've really loved the ride. I got to, travel internationally, travel, throughout Australia just to play footy. It's been so cool. I'm pretty open to a lot of things. I think now, as you get older and you settle down, and you've got an apartment and you've got your partner there, it's probably more about what's best for us, rather than, I suppose, early on it's just about you can just do whatever's best for you. If you get an opportunity, you don't think twice about it. Like that's what Newcastle was like. It was just answer the call. Where do I sign? Just put me in straight away. So it'd take a lot for me to sort of leave Canberra now. But having said that, I'm pretty open person to a lot of things. I've heard a lot about this new R360, new sort of new code, so that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, it's really exciting. Like the game's just growing so much. Like with the Perth team coming in, there's just so many opportunities that present themselves. I've got a nines comp later on in the year, so I love playing, and I just want to do it, for as long as I can and just enjoy it.
Would you be eligible for the Rugby World Cup next year if Netherlands make it? If they end up qualifying? I think they're in that chat where they could qualify if they beat, I think, 3 teams.
Yeah, it'd be pretty special, wouldn't it? I'd love to be in that conversation. I was messaged probably a month or two ago about going over there for this year because they're playing in the Euro B's Championships, which I think it's a first for them. So there's some pretty important games there. But yeah, I think it's it'll be so cool. That's probably the end goal there, to play in a Rugby League World Cup against the best countries in the world would be a life-changing experience.
Oh,
It'd be so
absolutely.
special. I think the next one might even be in Australia
Yeah.
or thereabouts. So yeah, I mean, to play in a home World Cup, playing for the Netherlands, would be amazing. Like when I started, I think the Netherlands were 18th in the world, and
Yeah.
now they're down to 9th. So
Yeah.
I'd
Down
love
to
nothing
9.
more than
And they have to they can't afford to pay players, so they're getting sponsors for the jerseys to
yeah,
make the Euro B competition work this year.
yeah,
It's all
exactly. I
publicly
think
funded, so.
yeah, it'd mean so much
Mm.
to all the players over there, and would make it would just open so many doors as well to Australian players coming over. I think when we went over there, you're only allowed, I think, 5 players, 5 heritage players that are players that aren't born in the Netherlands or aren't in the Netherlands. So we had myself, Harry from Newcastle. There was a couple of guys from Sydney and a guy from Queensland.
Mhm.
So I think if we were able to have sponsors and to be funded, it'd make it so easy for the trip because it's a long trip, and I think when I went over there it was 6 weeks in
Mm.
total. We played 5 games, so that's sort of it's a huge commitment,
Absolutely.
and it's all self funded. It's not cheap
No.
either to go over there. So yeah, I think the Netherlands are doing everything they can and putting themselves, in the right steps and in the right
Yeah.
sort of mindset to move forward and make progress.
No, absolutely. Hey, thank you very much for joining us on the show. I look forward to watching you grow in the game. You're only 25, brother. You've got so much time left.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
No, all good. We'll catch up when you're playing Rugby League World Cup, eh?
That's the plan, mate. Sounds
Sounds
good.
good.